Evil Planet.
All right. We don't got too many stories tonight. Oh, fuck off. I hate this. Like, every news site is like, hey, we know you're trying to read this news story, but can you turn off your ad blocker and maybe give us some money? Like, no. Fuck off. So we got, like I said, not too many stories tonight, but we got definitely some interesting ones that we need to talk about. Mostly crazy, weird shit happening in general. Trump's administration being absolutely insane, and also billionaires and AI ushering in the dystopian apocalypse that we've all seen in countless sci-fi films, and now we're living in it. So this is the first article of tonight. Larry Ellison once predicted citizens will be on their best behavior amid constant recording. Now his company will play a key role in social media. A year ago, Oracle co-founder and chairman Larry Ellison described a future where everyone, including law enforcement, will face regular surveillance as daily life is documented seemingly nonstop. At Oracle's financial analyst meeting last September, he predicted artificial intelligence will help process the vast amounts of footage recorded by cameras placed on everything from car dashboards and front doors to security systems and cops. As a quote from Ellison here, he says, "We're going to have supervision. Every police officer is going to be supervised at all times, and if there's a problem, AI will report that problem and report it to the appropriate person. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we are constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on." Speaking of this, before we get too much further into the article, either of you see the news about the guy who's running for U.S. Senator Graham Plattner? We've mentioned him on here before. An article came out about his tattoo. Did you see that, Gord?
Yeah, I saw the tattoo, or at least something on his chest. I think they're saying that's the tattoo. It's like the skull and crossbones. Is there a clear picture of the skull and crossbones? Because
I saw like a zoomed in picture, and it seems like it is the design. It's a specific, I think it's called like Death's Head. It was a very specific I don't know, like Nazi squad or something in World War II. I'll be honest, I've seen quite a few different Nazi symbols. I've never seen this one in my life. I'm not trying to say it isn't one, because it almost certainly is, but it's one of those symbols where I think a lot of people could look at it and just be like, oh yeah, skull and crossbones, looks like a pirate flag or something. I don't know. What do you think?
I have a skull and crossbones tattoo. It's like a really shitty like flash tattoo I got out of the pick and choose machine. You know, you get what you get machine.
Yeah.
Mine kind of looks like that, but it's not that. So that's why I'm kind of I need confirmation that this is the exact Death's Head tattoo.
Yeah, it seems to be, and according to him, this was something that he got as a younger Marine while he was on shore leave in Croatia. I think that kind of explains it. But
that he might. There's also like he might not have known that was
that's exactly what I'm saying though, and that's what he's saying, and that seems most plausible. And I think even at this point, he's had it covered up because he learned at one point that it was that, and he's like, oh no, because this guy's like a fucking self-described communist. He's not somebody who wants that shit on him. It was clearly an accident.
Yeah, remember when Cobes got that the Black Sun sticker, and he put it on his guitar, and someone had to tell him like, hey dude, that's a racist sticker.
Yeah,
that's a Nazi symbol. Like there are so many different like co-opted symbols like that are racist, but to my knowledge, that Death's Head is something like the SS wore.
It was a very specific like squad or whatever the fuck they called them in Germany back then, called the Death's Head. I don't know if that's just the name for the symbol, or I think it was the name for the squad itself. But yeah, like you're saying, it's definitely something that like the average fucking American would probably not even know about.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like at the end of the day, it's like if you got it accidentally, it's like, oh yeah, that's bad. Like get that lasered off or get it covered up. Beyond that, it's
blasted over.
But the reason I brought it up, I was thinking about covering it anyways, but I was like, oh, we'll probably bring it up anyways, and it got brought up here, so yeah. But a lot of this stuff was apparently deleted And people are now suspecting, and it looks like this is probably the case, that this stuff was dug up by like Palantir and other AI tech companies. Because, you know, they build we've talked about it on this show here. They build information profiles on people and like try and go through like internet archives of like deleted things and shit like that. Go through the Wayback Machine, whatever.
Yeah.
So it seems like they're already using this shit to try and bring, like, I've thought about this myself. Like, I've thought, like, man, in the future, when they have all of this advanced surveillance tech, you know, somebody might run for president and they're like, you jerked off to this when you were 15. You have like a fucking excuse for this, or you used to say this when you were in high school and that was all deleted, but we fucking found it in the archives or whatever. Like, I've thought about this for a while. That
kind of shit gives me anxiety. It makes me never want to be like a public figure.
Yeah, I had a thought at one point, and a lot of other people have probably had this thought. I doubt it's something I thought of just by myself, but at one point I was thinking about like social media when I was like, I think I was on like mushrooms when I was like 18 or 19, like years ago. And I was like, wait a minute, what if social media is just a conspiracy to get everybody to like put themselves on blast and like turn, like, what if it's a conspiracy theory to turn you and everyone around you into Big Brother, you know? Because that would be the ultimate fucking gotcha move. Instead of having to fucking create Big Brother, you just have people create it in themselves and everyone around them. I've kind of thought about that, but at this point, you know, the fucking cat's out of the bag. The only thing you can do is stop using social media, like not engage with it.
Or just like watch what you post, watch what you like, you know, watch who you follow.
Sure, but it's like, I'll just cap this off and we'll return to the article with saying this. And you guys can add something to it if you want. But they've created a system where they basically know, or they've created a system where we know that we're being watched, like this panopticon. You have this impulse in you that's like, oh, you got to self-censor. Oh, no, you can't say that. They're going to find that and they're going to come after you. So it's like a system that regulates itself and the people involved, you know, through self-censorship. It's really disturbing when you think about it.
It makes me want to just like stay off the internet forever.
Yeah. I mean, they're kind of making the internet useless now with AI. Like, if you go on a lot of media content platforms, like, so much of it is just AI slop. Like, it's hard to find, especially on something like Facebook. Like, I've seen people scrolling it in the last like few weeks. I'm just like, oh my God, like every video is AI. Like, remember when you used to go on this site and like talk to people and share photos of like you hanging out and shit?
Plus, like, AI just spreads like a lot of misinformation.
Oh yeah.
Like I looked something up on Google and it gave me, you know, the first AI result, and I'm like, something about this just seems like bullshit. There's no citation to this or anything.
Well, you know what's really fucking weird? I Googled something the other day as I was watching a small documentary about this thing that was put out not too long ago. And one of the quotes from the video was in the Google AI thing that it pulled. And I was like, and I tried to do a deep dive and figure out whether or not this guy like plagiarized somebody else's video about it. But then I couldn't find the quote. So I'm like, why is this guy's exact quote in this Google AI like fucking breakdown? And I thought about it and I'm like, did Google literally pull a guy's quote from a YouTube video on this and not quote him? Because I was typing in the words and the only thing that were coming up with this guy's YouTube video and the fucking AI thing. It's very strange. So like, you can't even, it's like getting hard to tell whether or not somebody plagiarized something or AI is plagiarizing them. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned this before. Either of you mentioned this, but it's just driving down traffic to actual websites now.
Real traffic, yeah. Like, especially if you look at a breakdown of like internet traffic by a specific site, or like over, like I remember, what was it they said the other day? I think and like, take this with a grain of salt. I think they said something like 51% of all internet traffic now is bots or AI. So dead internet theory is basically a reality at this point. It's not even a theory. It's just the dead internet that we currently have.
Yeah, especially on Twitter.
Oh yeah, Twitter is one of the worst sites.
It's almost like laughable how just like fake Twitter is now. Like, you can
It really is.
tell.
So are you guys ready for the AI bubble to pop?
Not quite yet. I have to sell a few stocks and then I'm ready. I have just a few select shares of certain companies that I have to sell and then I'm ready. I already sold one of them the other day, although I probably should have held on to it for a few more weeks, but I don't give a shit. I like double my money anyways.
I'm just so tired of talking about AI. I'm tired of
too.
talking
Same.
about all of these data centers. I'm tired of all this AI slop content. I'm tired of Sora videos.
Yes.
And I'm tired of the fucking president shit posting AI pictures all the time.
Slop anymore. Like,
Did you see the video that Trump posted where he's like in a jet dropping liquid shit on top of No Kings protesters?
no, and I'm glad I haven't.
There's a fucking video where Trump literally gets into a jet. He's got like the mask on with the fucking like tubes going everywhere.
God.
And he opens the like bomber cargo. I don't think it's a thing with jets like that in the bit. Anyways, it's AI that doesn't know that. But it just drops out like a comedic amount of like liquid shit, and it falls on like whatever that guy's name is, Harry Sisson or whatever, it falls on his head and a bunch of other fucking protesters in like Times Square or some shit. And it's like, and then at the end is like Trump putting on a crown. He's like,
Wasn't
fuck
there,
you,
like,
I am king.
Wasn't there 7 million Americans around the country went to these protests? This is like the largest protest in like all of American history.
I saw that
And-
in certain cities there were like hundreds of thousands of people. Yeah.
Yeah. You have the largest protest in all of American history, and this is your response to it. Let me just type in a prompt to Sora, have them like create a video for me so I can post it on my White House account.
I was gonna go to the Toronto No Tyrants protest, but the fucking details that they gave were not consistent. So I was like, I don't even fucking know what time to show up. But next time they have one of those protests, if they figure out the details a little better, I'll probably go. I think there was like over 1,000 people in Toronto doing the protest.
I had to work that weekend. I wasn't happy.
That's pretty cool though. And you, Trip, you probably missed out. I know your neck of the woods has probably got more action around there than my neck of the woods.
Oh yeah, Portland was packed. Like I saw the photos that they took. There's a huge turnout, and even at
Just
my
go
work,
out with
like,
a bag of weed.
Even at my work, there was like 120 residents that came out to protest.
Wow.
You know, right outside campus. Yeah, and I was gonna join them, but I just like kept getting calls.
I want to say like this picture here. You see with Larry Ellison, you see Trump off to the side. Look at his face. He's got the stroke face.
Yep.
He looks confused, like dementia-addled.
He's starting to look like that fucked up Hall of Presidents wax figure that people said was originally Hillary Clinton, and they changed it last minute when Trump won. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
No, but I can imagine. Like I can imagine being like a wax, figure that's like melted. It's like Trump and his like
Actually, he looks worse than the wax figure now. They're the robot or whatever.
Wax figure, it's like 2010s Trump.
Hey, correction, it's a robot. It's a wax figure in my bad. Okay, back to the article.
It'd be funny if it melted. It just slowly started to degrade. It would just look like him.
His face melts like at the end of fucking Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
Anyways, those comments have gained fresh relevance now that his company has emerged as a major player in the AI industry and is poised to play a critical role in the deal for TikTok's US operations. Yeah, this guy, fucking Ellison, is trying to buy, I think he's already bought CBS, and he's setting himself up to buy TikTok's US division now. Like they're trying, and he's a Zionist, if you don't know. Like he is doing this in part to censor pro-Palestine and anti-Zionist materials off of CBS and TikTok.
Once we're, in full like 1984 mode, I might hop offline forever and just read books and shit, play retro games. Like
honestly, I get it. TikTok's video sharing platform is among the most popular social media properties in the country. Oracle did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The company has been an AI infrastructure provider and stunned Wall Street earlier this month by reaching a $300 billion deal with OpenAI, which will purchase computing power over about 5 years in one of the largest cloud contracts ever signed. And earlier this week, OpenAI signed deals with SoftBank and Oracle for new data centers as part of the massive Stargate project. In its most recent quarterly earnings call with analysts, management also offered revenue projections that cited $455 billion in contracts, up 359% from a year earlier. Almost $500 billion. Okay, and nothing to see here. That's going to go totally fine. We're definitely not in a bubble. CEO Safra Katz, what a name, revealed that Oracle landed deals with 3 different customers during the quarter. President Donald Trump on Thursday afternoon signed an executive order clearing the way for a deal to put TikTok in U.S. hands. The U.S. ownership structure is still being finalized, but Trump said Oracle and Ellison would play a, quote, big role in managing the app. Conservative media mogul Rupert Murdoch and computer billionaire Michael Dell would sit on the board. Trump hinted that 3 more blue chip backers are also part of the ownership group. So the oligarchy is taking full control of the media. Holy fucking shit, dude. Vice President J.D. Vance said that the algorithm will be, quote, under the control of American investors, adding that more details would be forthcoming. Reports earlier this week said Oracle will recreate TikTok's algorithm and provide a new U.S. version. Oh no, they're going to ruin TikTok. People are going to be so fucking mad. But you know what that means?
They're going to make it more like Facebook.
They're gonna ban pretty much anything that's pro-Palestinian, like fully ban it.
They're already doing that.
It's going to be a more accessible, like, truth social.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, if that happens, then everyone's just going to go back over to Redbook.
All right, so this is probably one of the most consequential articles of the night. And before we get into it, I just want to bring this up because this is just a quick follow-up. We don't even need to pull up an article for this because the facts are what the facts are. Did either of you hear about there's been another I'm trying to figure out how to even like couch this or explain it, but I'll just say what it is. There's been another fucking war crime terrorist attack by the US government in international waters. Have either of you seen it?
This is like the
Venezuela or
No,
Colombia, I think.
No, there's a new ship from Trinidad and Tobago that's been fucking blown up.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like
they literally just want to kill brown people. Like,
yeah, they want to fucking kill people. They want to fucking do these shows of power. They want to just try and dominate everyone else on the planet through essentially what is terrorism. And they're talking about they're like, no, you're narco terrorists. It's like, no, you're doing terrorism.
You just can't keep this shit up, man. Like, eventually the chickens are going to come home to roost. Someone is going to like nut up and say, hey, we need to prosecute at least some of these people. Maybe they won't prosecute the president of the United States like Obama failed to do with George Bush. He said, like, we look forward, we don't look backwards, something like that.
That's what he said, yeah.
Because of that spinelessness, because we have to protect the status of like the president of the United States above all else, and we have to protect the vice president in the last, cabinet, we essentially we fucked ourselves. This led up to this.
Yeah. Yep. Oh man. Okay.
They can't help but kiss up to fascists.
It was already like a plan the US was already going through was destabilizing a bunch of countries in the Middle East, and new boss, same as the old. That's kind of like the whole deep state, idea is that it doesn't matter who the president is. There's an agenda, and the agenda is going to get fulfilled because there's like international interest, and there's centralized like interest among like all of these companies and shit and the Pentagon.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about the deep state? There's 3 people. I mean, one of them is the vice president, but there's J.D. Vance, the vice president, and by extension Peter Thiel. But you'll just call that one entity, the Thiel multi-headed dragon or whatever. There's Russ Vought and there's Stephen Miller. That is like the top of the deep state right now, essentially.
Yeah, and then there's our puppet fool president.
Yeah, he's got Peter Thiel's fucking hand up his ass. So this is an article from Ken Klippenstein. Secretive watch listing center executing NSPM 7 FBI director says we're expanding the watch list amid 300% increase in domestic terror investigations. So what level of familiarity do you both have with NSPM 7?
It's a directive for the intelligence agencies to look into non-American, non-capitalist, non-Christian.
You said non-American,
people.
but I believe you mean anti-American.
Yeah, anti-American, anti-Christian, anti-capitalist, which, you know, like I would not call myself anti-American. I wouldn't even really call myself anti-Christian. I would call myself like anti-religion. But that's because, you know, I'm an atheist and I don't think that religion should, you know, rule over my fucking existence.
Yeah.
In anti-capitalism, I will say, yeah, at this point in my life, I am getting so fucking sick of capitalism. I'm getting so sick of having to work my fucking life away just so I could have nothing.
Well, congratulations, Gord. You're a terrorist, according to the U.S. government.
Yeah, fuck it. If you want to call me a terrorist, then I will see you in Mexico.
Yeah, I mean, just to respond to what you said too about, because like you said that you don't consider yourself anti-American, it doesn't even matter because their definition of anti-American is basically anybody who doesn't say America is a flawless country and the greatest country on earth. If you don't agree with that, you're anti-American. I
don't know how I don't know how you can justify that America is the number one country in the world. I mean, like, you can say America is the wealthiest country in the world. That's pretty accurate. But if you look at like a country like China that has a lower GDP than America, their cities are so much fucking better than ours. Their public transit is so much better than ours.
The United States has been sitting on its laurels for a while, just like, we're awesome, and they don't feel like they have to prove it.
Yeah, you came to America and you went to like the heart of America. You went to Texas.
Oh my God, I went to Houston. It was a fucking like
it looks awful.
I'll just say this. It was a car-dependent hellhole with no public transportation, and the few bright spots while I was down there was, you know, going to Waffle House for the first time. And, you know, that wasn't like, oh my God, it's so incredible. It was just like, oh my God, I've heard so many silly stories about this place and now I'm finally in one. But like, it was nice dealing with the service workers there and then just giving them like a fat tip when I left and seeing their faces light up because I know they're getting paid fucking shit down there.
I would say the best part of America is not its infrastructure. It's it's mostly the people. There's a large chunk of the population that are just awesome. You know, that are just amazing.
The good portion of the population.
Yeah, but then there are other portions of the population, and even them, there are redeeming factors. But it's just the worst part of the population, I'll say, is the 170,000 that signed up recently to become part of ICE. If you're doing that, then you're probably a piece of shit.
Hopefully there's at least a couple of them that are like, well, I can take a job and sabotage the US government, so I'll do it. Yeah. I need the money.
ICE is so fucking bad that they're making the American police look good. That's how fucked you guys are.
Just quick, I'll mention this. Did either of you see that their spending on weapons has increased 700%, and that includes guided missile warheads?
Why the fuck do you need guided missiles? What, are you going to bomb buildings?
Yeah, they're literally gonna do a fucking, I don't even know, could you call it civil war? They're basically just going to do a war of brutality, just an unnecessary, like, they're gonna occupy their own country, essentially. ICE and the US government through probably, I don't even know, like, oh wait, okay, so sorry, there's another aspect to this. I don't know if they're gonna bring this up. Let me just say what you're gonna say, Gord. I need to check this article quick, see if they're gonna bring this up.
I probably shouldn't say what I'm about to say because I would be fed posting hard.
Okay, then don't say it. I'll just say this in its place, because this article does not bring it up. So you know how they deployed National Guard, Marines, and shit to like U.S. cities, but they couldn't really do anything because there's something called, I believe it's called the Posse Comitatus Act, which basically means that the military can't do police work and all that shit.
Exactly.
in like domestically. But
even though that's what the justification for a lot of these, what's it called? The National Guard going to all of these like blue cities, is they're there because the crime rate is so bad. A lot of them like are just like standing around like in Washington. They're not actually like doing any police work. They're just there to look pretty,
picking up trash.
Yeah, or they're there to like assist ICE, to like protect ICE, to commit, crime.
So I'm just going to mention this because it doesn't look like the article here mentions it. It might at some point. I'll just say this first, just to preface it. So what this NSPM7 thing does is it creates a situation here where federal law enforcement, they can open investigations into domestic terrorism, which I don't believe that they were doing before. I don't know if they were allowed to do it before. I don't think they can actually charge people with domestic terrorism. There's some weird kind of gray area where they're doing this so they can investigate people, but they can't charge them officially for domestic terrorism. Certain organizations can, at least. But what they're looking to do is investigate people, like create a pretense to investigate people, and then while they're surveilling them, investigating them, try and catch them doing other illegal things, try and catch them doing who the fuck knows what, so that they can basically use lawfare against them. And of course they're using this against, like you mentioned before, anti-capitalists, people who have criticisms of the US government, basically like dissidents.
Yeah, people who organize protests, organize unions.
Yep.
It's just more of this like mass surveillance bullshit. This is essentially the Patriot Act on steroids. But instead of going after like jihadists and like Islam or like Muslims in the United States, looking for terrorists, Islamic terrorists, they're just looking for any excuse to put you in handcuffs, like they're doing with like John Bolton right now, and like all of Trump's enemies, anyone who's ever like been a thorn in Trump's ass.
Yeah, he's gone full dictator. Yeah,
I hate to say it, but like their strength in numbers, and the reason that they need all this like AI surveillance bullshit and all these data centers and all this like data collection, so they can, because there are 7 fucking million people. There are 7 fucking million people who are saying the same things that we're saying right now, who actually went out and protested. And probably more than 7 million, but there's at least 7 million of us who feel the exact same as like
yeah, I mean, you guys got something like 250 million adults in the US, I think, something close to that.
We have like over 300 million.
Yeah, so like, but that's why I said adults.
Like, yeah, well, yeah, like
probably a lot of those are kids,
and old people, boomers.
Oh yeah, well, the crazy thing is that a lot of boomers are becoming radicalized now. Like, I'll just say this, I won't say who, but I heard a boomer in my family saying shit recently. Like, I remember when I was younger and they were telling me about how awful it was for them to hear about and see the footage of Kennedy getting assassinated when they were younger, right? Because they're old as fuck. And now the shit that they were saying about Trump, they're like, he's a fucking dictator. He needs to be removed from office. And somebody, blah, 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 blah. Use your imagination. And I was like, whoa, based grandma. You know what I mean? Based granny out here. Yeah, yeah. Based granny out here. But you know what I'm saying? It's like boomers are saying shit that boomers have never said before.
Oh, dude, boomers have no fucking filter. It's beautiful. When something pisses them off, they are just going to let it fly.
Oh, yeah, dude. And they're getting sick of fucking Trump. Like, a lot of footage from a lot of these No Kings protests have shown that, like, there's a lot of fucking old white people who are like, no, fuck this. Like, a lot of the boomers are in revolt, even.
Yeah, anyways. I checked that at my job.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you've seen it firsthand, Trip, to me.
It depends. Like it's like a mixed bag, because I know a boomer who was super pro Trump, voted for Trump, and at this point he's starting to get pissed off, because like it's just loss after loss after loss for him to be a Trump supporter.
Yep.
Like the Epstein shit, the tariff shit, fucking going to war with like Iran, supporting Israel with everything they fucking do, sending money to Ukraine still, all the shit posting online.
You guys used to have such cheap consumer goods, and now you guys are in the same situation that a lot of us Canadians are in. Like, you just don't have cheap consumer goods anymore. It's all like the system is just fucked.
And our housing market's fucked too.
Yeah.
And we're in a position right now, and it's either going to go really shitty for like it's really shitty for the boomers, and it's also really shitty for the Gen Z and millennials, because the average age of like buying a home now is like 38 years old, and boomers need to sell their houses. They need to be able to sell their houses so they can downsize, so they can also like move closer towards like a hospital, just in case like the inevitable happens. Your body starts to break down.
Especially now that the Trump administration has closed thousands of hospitals across the U.S.
Yeah,
particularly rural ones where a lot of old people want to live because it's quiet.
Well, that has to do with like I think kicking people off Medicaid, right? That's like all the like
that's like what they've been doing. Yeah,
that's like the big beautiful bill thing.
They cut so much spending in that regard. Yeah, like close to $1 billion or something.
Yeah, I think it's like 700 rural hospitals are going to be closed down by like 2027.
Or sorry, excuse me, not close to $1 billion. It's like hundreds of billions. Excuse me, close to $1 trillion from what I've heard.
Yeah. It's not good. So these boomers are gonna have to like move closer like into like city areas. They're gonna have to be like within like 10 minutes of a hospital.
It's gonna be like Judge Dredd, but the wasteland formed not because of nuclear fallout or anything like that, but just from like all the fucking unregulated chemicals being dumped into the countryside by these companies, fucking microplastics and whatnot.
Yeah. And speaking of like all these chemicals, and they're like, I think I brought up like Memphis, right? The data center in Memphis, Tennessee. It's just polluting the air. It's causing emphysema.
I saw a mini documentary about that not too long ago. It's not like there's that, like there's those health problems being caused by like gases and chemicals and all this shit, but there's also like infra noise and things like that, or infrasound they call it. Like it'll give you like anxiety, and it can cause psychosis potentially. It's like sounds that are too low in the frequency range for you to hear, but you feel it. These waves are like long as fuck, and it's just like awful.
Where's Maha talking about this shit? Where's Maha talking about like clean air, clean water? But they want to talk about Tylenol and say like, oh, did you take Tylenol when you're pregnant? That's why your kid has ADHD. That's why they have autism.
Yeah,
that's why they have asthma, immune disorders.
They're still busy trying to find a link between vaccines and autism. It's been like 25 years and they still haven't found it. But yeah, I'm sure they're gonna find it one day. Okay, let me get into this article here. As the federal government begins to implement Trump's new national security directive to investigate the so-called radical left as domestic terrorists, a little-known FBI organization located in an affluent and leafy suburb of Northern Virginia is at the center of it all. Based just 7 miles from CIA headquarters, the Threat Screening Center has a secret budget and a classified personnel count. The nondescript cluster of glass-fronted buildings has no sign out front. Even the identity of its director, FBI Executive Steve McQueen, I'm told, isn't public until now. Holy shit, bro. Ken Klippenstein always drops shit like this. I love it. That's why I pulled this article. He's just dropping like national security secrets and shit. This is great. Behind a black fence and manicured berms, the Threat Screening Center maintains the federal government's terrorist watch list, created in response to the 9/11 attacks. Today, the FBI-run center is chewing on National Security Presidential Memorandum 7, which we've mentioned, NSPM 7, Trump's sweeping policy directive that formally directs the national security state to root out left-wing political violence by monitoring so-called indicators of violence, like anti-Christianity, anti-capitalism, and anti-Americanism, as I've reported. I'll just say this too, we don't need to have like a whole conversation about it, but I think fundamentally I would personally say that I am anti-Christian, anti-capitalist, and anti-American. If well, it says anti-Americanism. And as far as I know, when I think about what Americanism is, like just Americanism, it's probably some of the worst things that have been exported from the nation of America since it was founded. So
Yeah.
I would say that I am anti-Americanism, if you want to talk about what Americanism is.
You don't like seeing a McDonald's next to your Tim Hortons?
I would say that my bigger problem is just anti-intellectualism in general, which seems like it is bred in America. Mainly.
To be fair, though, you Canadians have sent over your worst, and like your Steven Crowders and your Jordan Petersons.
Yeah, I can't really disagree.
You gave us these people. We boosted them, but you gave us them.
I mean, those are like the maple traders, right? Like, of course, you guys would get them. They want to go over to America. That just like shows that they're terrible.
Isn't Tom McDonald Canadian?
Yes, he is.
Yes.
God.
I mean, Canada gives and Canada takes, you know, like Jim Carrey, Mike Myers, John Candy. I know I'm only bringing up like actors and comedians here, but I can't think of anyone else, so just give me a break. Oh, wait, David Cronenberg, you know.
Yeah, you gave us the Trailer Park Boys. That was pretty dope.
Yeah, there you go. One of our many gifts unto this world. You know, they can't all be gifts. Sometimes you gotta just take a shit.
Yeah, you gave us like Crown whiskey.
Yeah, you know, as they say, shit rolls downhill, and if you look at a map, you guys are indeed below us. Unfortunately, when we flush the Canadian toilet, so to speak, some of the turds end up down in America. We apologize on behalf of the good Canadians, but you know, all we can say is at least they're not here in Canada anymore.
Well, eventually, when America annexes you, we'll be. You'll experience the same level of freedom we do.
Get ready to experience true American freedom.
Yeah, you won't be able to say anything online, but you'll be able to buy an AR-15. Doesn't that sound fun?
Yeah, dude. It's going to be fucking incredible. Though the text of NSPM7 is public, the Threat Screening Center's watch listing process is a black hole. Even the criteria for how people end up on it is secret. When Donald Trump took office, terrorist watch lists contained records of approximately 1.1 million persons, the overwhelming majority of whom were foreigners. Of that number, according to government documents I reviewed, under 6,000 were U.S. persons, which is roughly half of 1%. Which was, U.S. persons, by the way, was defined as both American citizens and permanent residents. A well-connected intelligence official tells me that most are Muslims suspected of desire or intent to commit lone wolf attacks. We have a quote here. The intelligence official that gave some information to Ken for the article. They say here, the idea of a domestic watch list made up of solely radicals without foreign connections, left or right wing, is basically wrong. He explained that many individuals might be the subject of specific investigations relating to violations of law, and there are a number of mechanisms by which the government keeps tabs on them to discover indicators of violence and foreign connection. But up until Trump, a watch list for Americans had never really gotten much traction. Is Ken Klippenstein or any other American dissenter on the watch list? The official asked rhetorically. No, and there really is no legal way for such a person to even be surveilled, let alone watch listed, without legal predicate. That is, without evidence that the person has committed or is about to commit a crime. You might think that about to commit is a loophole, but up until NSPM 7, it wasn't. And keep in mind, up until NSPM 7, it wasn't. Up until now, he says. He went on to explain that a combination of post-Watergate reforms, congressional actions after mass surveillance and Snowden revelations, and the FBI's own rules had created a web of limits. Until now. Unfortunately, the official continued, changes made under President Obama and Biden paved the way for Trump's expansion. First was the addition of transnational organized crime to the watch list, and second was an affirmation that the terrorist watch list wasn't just about terrorists anymore. The official was quoted as saying, at least not terrorists as defined by Al-Qaeda or ISIS. Then, in the final weeks of the first Trump administration in 2021, the FBI quietly changed the name of the Terrorist Screening Center to the Threat Screening Center to formalize the expanding mission. But when Biden came into office just days later, the Bureau quietly changed the name back. This back and forth was never reported. Then in March of this year, the Trump administration announced with little fanfare that the Terrorist Screening Center would again change its name, to the Threat Screening Center. The reason, the administration said, was that threats had evolved beyond familiar terrorist organizations to encompass a broader range of national security threats, and it was not further explained. As national security threats continue to evolve, the TSC has expanded beyond terrorism watchlisting and screening to address other national security threats, an announcement said. With expanding and growing threats, we are reflecting that in our name. The name change is a signal to the American people that the TSC is a powerful tool that can be used to fight all national security threats. Kash Patel also added, "We're expanding the watch list. This change will assist our law enforcement and intelligence community partners as we all work together towards the goal of crushing violent crime within our borders." In May, in a rare public conference to the center, Patel announced that he had spent a weekend there and he was beefing up the center as one of his first things he did after becoming FBI director. "One of the first things we did when I was sworn in as director was to strengthen the TSC's focus on border security, in addition to growing threats abroad. Our team has done tremendous work in this area." Oh my god, this picture. These fucking ghouls, dude. Look at Kash Patel. He's so short. Oh my god. Look at this clown.
It's funny. A lot of these dudes are probably wearing lifts in their shoes.
Wait a minute. Included in the photo was Michael Glassheen. Within days, he was reassigned and a new head of the Threat Screening Center was appointed. The new director, I'm told, is the FBI former Deputy Assistant Director Stephen McQueen, a longtime counterterrorism hand. Asked for comment about the name of the director, the budget, and the number of people working there, the FBI declined, citing the government shutdown. This is despite the fact that the FBI is completely exempt from the shutdown. During the current lapse in appropriations, FBI operations are directed towards national security, violations of federal law, and essential public safety functions. Patel, in the announcement of his visit, went on to describe the center's mission as circulating watch list information across the government so that we're better equipped to crush violent crime, an objective that the Trump administration seems to be emphasizing more today than ever before. Shortly after the murder of Charlie Kirk, Patel testified to Congress that he had overseen a 300% increase in domestic terrorism investigations. A large chunk of that increase, he said, is comprised of cases under the new designation nihilistic violent extremism, a broad category that the administration plans to use to go after perceived adversaries, as Ken has previously reported. By the way, you're basically already considered a threat under that fucking nihilistic violent extremism designation just for being like trans. Like if you're trans, they basically consider you like already like a threat.
What
it's
if,
pretty insane.
That doesn't make any sense. Like you're not a nihilist, you know, if you're or violent or an extremist.
What you have to realize what you have to realize is that they consider trans to be like a radical ideology. They don't consider it to be somebody's like gender identity.
Here's the crazy thing, right? Like you can think that being transgender, being queer, or whatever, being LGBTQ, whatever, is extreme. But then you have like Peter Thiel. You have this guy who will not shut the fuck up about the Antichrist for some reason.
By the way, for those who don't know, Peter Thiel is a gay man, but continue.
Yeah, he is. But he thinks that you shouldn't just be able to change your gender identity or your biological sex or whatever, or just transition into like the opposite gender. He thinks that you should be able to like augment yourself physically to like become like a cyborg, or like to upload your consciousness. He wants to like transcend humanity.
These guys are all over the place. One second they'll be talking about how awesome transhumanism is, and then the next second they'll be like, and that's why the Antichrist is going to be whoever encourages transhumanism the most. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like
the guy
they're all over the place. They're like Jared.
Yeah. It's, hey, are you super wealthy and influential? Yes. Well, you can just believe whatever the fuck you want to believe. It can contradict whatever. But if you're a poor person, you believe this, you're the devil.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I just mentioned about Peter Thiel. That's why I brought up that context of him being a gay man. I mean, he's behind this administration that is essentially trying to like make being gay illegal again. But Peter Thiel, he's a billionaire, so he can get away with it. Like, it's just so fucking, it's so nuts to see all this playing out in real time. Fuck, man. This is the first time in American history that there is an all-of-government effort to dismantle left-wing terrorism. That quote is very fucking funny. That's from Stephen Miller. In particular, it's funny because left-wing terrorism, like, basically is not a thing. Like if you look at domestic terrorism in the United States, I remember, I think it was like Kyle or somebody else they were talking about efforts that the right wing was making to uncover like deaths from Antifa terrorist attacks, and they found like none. Well, maybe one, but we can't even confirm that one was a death from an Antifa terrorist. Like, it's just not a thing. But now they're trying to label Antifa as a terrorist organization.
Yeah, remember that bike lock guy who hit that Nazi in the head with a bike lock?
Yes, who didn't die, but yeah.
Yeah, they think of that guy every time they think of Antifa. They just think of a skinny guy wearing all black with a mask and like shades, ready to hit you with a bike lock and then hide behind other people in a crowd.
We need bike lock guy versus Nick Fuentes. That's what we need. Over the past several days, Miller has gone even further, labeling everything from shootings lacking any clear partisan motive to attempts to physically obstruct ICE as terrorism. There is a large and growing movement of left-wing terrorism in this country, Miller said this weekend. The only remedy is to use legitimate state power to dismantle terrorism and terror networks. Doing that is a logistical feat, with the Threat Screening Center playing a central role. It might not be immediate how the FBI creates the protocols and rules to create a whole new category of people to watch list, the official told me. But as the Joint Terrorism task forces take up the charge at the local level, they will look to the TSC to internally organize and administer the new category of threats, even as the administration continues to misuse the term terrorists.
Do you think that the American government is looking at all of these other governments like Madagascar, Nepal?
I don't think they remember Madagascar exists, but go on.
Yeah, but there are all of these Gen Z revolutions happening.
I heard about Nepal, but not Madagascar. I was like, why the fuck? Madagascar?
It's been like a handful of countries at this point where Gen Z has just toppled the government, and this has happened within the past like few months. Do you think that the American government sees that happening and they see the state of the American people and they're like, okay, the American people aren't at the point of doing the same thing yet because they don't really have a real need to at the moment. Like, yeah, things suck, but it's not like, hey, let's overthrow the government bad. Do you think they're trying to get ahead of that?
I think they're trying to get ahead of it because they know on some level the things that they're doing are going to create those conditions. So yes.
Yeah. Do you think that they would be able to stop it if there was another like riot or insurrection?
I think that they could stop it. Yeah, I mean maybe it depends on the circumstances of it, right? There's a lot of factors.
Think of it like this. There is a crowd just as big as like the No Kings protests in DC, of angry fucking people rioting. Do you think that they would be able to stop that?
I think it's definitely possible. I think one of the questions is like how far across the line would they go? Because at this point, I think it's clear that they're willing to kill people.
Yeah. It really does just show. Then they want to use ICE as their own personal army if the American military doesn't do what they want them to do.
You know, there's a lot of people theorizing that is what is going on. They're theorizing that Trump and his administration are intentionally trying to provoke some sort of incident or an attack. And once it gets bad enough, let's say there's a severe enough incident that's like backlash to all of this, that they can institute martial law and then really crack down on people. That's what I'm hearing a lot of people saying, and I don't think they're necessarily wrong, but I don't know. It seems like it.
I think that they are trying to act like there's already martial law to some degree, and I think that they're right. I think that they are. I don't necessarily think that they're trying to invoke I think that they are looking for an excuse, but I don't think that they're trying to create an excuse per se. But if something does arise where they can enact the Insurrection Act and declare martial law, I don't think that they will hesitate to do it.
Well, we have to go into the lightning round here because we're running out of time. We still have some stories to talk about, but nothing that'll take too long. I will bring this up because it's relevant to what you're talking about. These motherfuckers are acting like they're never going to have to leave the White House. Wait, what the fuck? Not this article. Fuck off. Speaking of which, in a sudden change of plans, Trump to demolish White House East Wing entirely. Have either of you seen the photos of them destroying the East Wing?
It looks very sad.
So here you go, Trip, because I believe Gord has already seen it. I think you can see the pictures here.
Yeah, man, they're destroying a lot. Like,
yep. I don't know the historical significance of the.
I don't either.
Well, I'll tell you this: he's not legally allowed to do this. It's not his house; he doesn't own it, and he's using his own private funds apparently to pay for this. So that tells me
provided to him by billionaires, probably.
Well, at the end of the day, he's not using taxpayer money, reportedly. He's using his own money from his own... Like, that's worrying because, like, that tells me that he has no intention of leaving once his term is up. Like, he's gonna try and just stay in office perpetually.
You thought the ballroom that's gonna take, like, over 4 years to build, you thought that... Yeah, that was also another sign. It's the ballroom. Isn't the ballroom supposed to, like, connect to the East Wing? And that's why they're tearing it down to make it connect.
I've seen a 3D rendering that makes the ballroom look like it's going to be bigger than like all the other fucking parts of the White House combined. It looks like it's going to be fucking massive. They say right here 90,000 square foot ballroom. It's going to be built over the east side and it will be beautiful, according to Donald Trump. So yeah,
pink marble and gold and white pillars.
A White House spokesperson confirmed to USA Today that the entirety of the East Wing, which traditionally houses the First Lady's offices, will be undergoing modernization and renovation as a new ballroom is built, in a stark reversal of earlier plans. Yeah, Trump's like, Melania isn't even here anyways. She's off fucking the yoga instructor in another country. I'm just going to tear this shit down and build my ballroom here.
Yeah, my fake wife. Yeah, she doesn't need this. Did you hear about, like, what is his name? Ross Vogt?
Yeah, Vogt? I mentioned him just earlier, yeah.
Yeah. Apparently he took Vogt off to Mar-a-Lago to, quote unquote, get some pussy.
What?
Yeah. This Christian
Oh my god. Dude, they're doing Epstein shit in Mar-a-Lago with Russ Vogt and Stephen Miller.
Oh, 100%. Right now, they're compiling the Epstein list, but they hit Control F and they replaced Donald Trump's name with Bill Clinton. Actually, Bill Clinton knew Epstein way more than I did. He had way more connections than I ever did, even though I have a bajillion pictures with him, and my letter to him was way more weird.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, Bill Clinton had like the most normal letter to Epstein from that birthday book. He was just like, hey, Jeff, have a happy birthday, man. We've been friends for a long time. And everyone else's letters was like, Jeff, we know how much you love raping children, so we got you this sex slave. Literally what the other letters are like. Dude, there's one person who did like they did like a fucking like detailed drawing of like Epstein giving balloons to children, and then it like flashes forward and they're giving him like a hand job. It's fucking gross.
Oh, that's like some John Wayne Gacy type shit.
No, seriously. Anyways, the scope and size of the ballroom project has always been subject to vary as the scope and size of the process developed.
He's building that ballroom so he can do his little dance in there.
His big, beautiful ballroom. He's going to do his jerking off two dicks at once.
The first song that he plays in that ballroom is YMCA.
Not a gay song. It's very nice. Trump told reporters on October 22nd that the decision to tear down the entire structure was made after tremendous amount of study with some of the best architects in the world. It's the most Trumpiest thing. Tremendous amounts of study with the best architects in the world. Believe me, I have the best. In order to do it properly, we had to take down the existing structure. When asked about not being transparent about knocking down the entire East Wing, Trump said he'd shown the plans to everybody that would listen. I love the implication that like nobody gave a fuck about it. The demolition work began on October 21st, and pictures from the site set off a flurry of criticism. The sight of the facade of the East Wing being ripped off angered people, including former First Lady Hillary Clinton. There's a quote from her, but we're not going to read it because who fucking cares what Hillary Clinton has to say, especially in the modern day.
Bitch.
Yeah,
She's
fuck
the
off,
reason
Hillary.
this fucker. She's the reason that this fucker is even a thing at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I blame her and basically the entire Democratic establishment, but yeah, she's a big part of it. Just being so fucking
Seriously,
awful.
bro. But she didn't campaign anywhere she was supposed to. She didn't campaign in fucking Ohio or wherever the fuck. She just assumed that certain states, certain blue states like the Rust Belt, were just going to go to her. So she fumbled the bag hard.
What else do they say in this article? Anything? Oh no, it's basically over. Okay. Yeah, dude. Isn't it fucked up that the last 3 presidential elections in the U.S. have basically just been like horrible Democrat versus Donald Trump? Like, what a fucking nightmare.
I want to say this though. I think Kamala was the better option than Joe Biden. She like explained though, like her campaign, the people managing her campaign were doing a pretty shitty job of it. I mean, well, sure. she's blaming the people who managed her campaign because they were also like associated with Biden, and Biden was kind of pissed off that they told him to leave. His hubris was blocking it was blocking her from actually, you know, saying and doing the things that she wanted. Like she was remember when she first started campaigning, she had some support. She had some actual like.
It's because her and Walz were going hard, and then they fucking stopped because. Well, I'll say this. I think you're right on some level, but I still put the blame on Kamala because she should have just been a fucking maverick and told those advisors to fuck off.
She should have, yeah. At the end of the day, she was, you know, a weak candidate because there was one story where she was, I think she was going on like a podcast with some doctor, some like YouTube doctor, and she thought, okay, well, we're going to talk about this.
Yep.
We're gonna
I know what you mean.
Yeah, we're going to talk about like a RFK being anti-vax, but instead they were asking like, hey, what's your healthcare plan for the United States? So she wasn't prepped for the interview. And instead of just being able to, you know, talk about her ideas and her plans for like American healthcare off the cuff, she was unprepared and she wasn't able to.
Yeah, she was freaking the fuck out. She's like, she was apparently like cursing at her aides. I think I saw the same thing that you did, and she was blaming them like, why didn't you help me prepare for this? You gave me the wrong so-and-so. But as you said, she should have just been able to talk about that shit off the cuff. So yeah, I agree. Yeah. She was just a bad candidate.
Do I think she would have been a better president? Do I think she would have been able to like keep America like on track where it was, you know, going? You know, we still would have been doing like foreign wars in the Middle East. We still would have been backing Israel, and we still would have been, you know, helping Israel in, you know, the genocide. But would we be bombing ships off the coast of Venezuela right now? No. Would we have been threatening Canada and Greenland with annexation? No. Would we have been talking about defunding Medicaid? No. Would we be in a government shutdown right now? Probably not. There's so much shit that we could have avoided if we would have just bit the bullet and just done the vote blue no matter who. But maybe we do need this dose of Trump to just wake up America. Like, hey, this party, this Republican Party does not have your best interests at heart. If you're a farmer in America growing soybeans, we do not have your best interests at heart. If you're in a labor union, if you're a trucker, we don't have your best interests at heart because, you know, tariffs and shit, and less people are buying products. And it's just so many of like the average American voter that voted Republican, they're just getting a middle finger up to them right now. Like all the red states, all the red state Republicans who are on Medicaid or Medicare, they're getting a middle finger right now. All of the Republicans that rely on food assistance right now that aren't able to get food stamps.
Yeah, I mean, did you see the thing the other day about how there was like 100 million, or sorry, almost 100 million pounds of food aid that was essentially just trashed because the Trump administration was like, no, fuck it.
Yeah,
Don't hand it out to people, just let it rot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's meat and eggs and dairy. We can't give that out to the American people who need it desperately.
Nope. Got to cancel. You can pull out the Kyle Kalinske classics that he's been talking about for the last year or so. Kamala probably would not have canceled pediatric cancer research. Probably would not have canceled Meals on Wheels and shut all that down.
Probably would have actually regulated AI. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. That's one thing I'm less certain on, but... okay, so we got some lightning round stories to talk about here. Nothing that we're going to go too deep on, but all right, first one. Welcome back. First one here. 14 people found in van during Highway 401 stop. Human trafficking suspected. This is a Canadian story that we got here. A routine traffic stop on a highway in... I don't even know how to say that. Ontario, what the fuck is that? Has led to 5 arrests and discovery of what police believe to be a human trafficking operation. Ontario Provincial Police say officers pulled over a minivan on Highway 401 shortly on 7 a.m. on Friday, October 3rd, as part of a routine patrol along the busy highway corridor. Inside the vehicle, officers discovered 14 individuals tightly packed into the van. Following initial checks, 5 people, 4 nationals between the ages of 23 and 59, were taken into custody on outstanding immigration warrants. They were transported to the whatever West OPP detachment. How the fuck do you say this? Hold up.
Quinty,
okay. The Quinty West OPP detachment, and later turned over to the Canada Border Services Agency. Investigators believe the individuals in the van may have been victims of human trafficking, specifically being exploited for forced labor, according to the release. Human trafficking involves recruiting, moving, or holding victims to exploit them for profit, police said. Thank you for that. We didn't know what human trafficking was. Thanks. No charges related to human trafficking have been announced. Okay, but the investigation is ongoing. So they suspect it's human trafficking. This is becoming more and more of a thing in Canada, though. Human trafficking.
Really sad.
There's more and more stories about it. Yeah, like I was saying to somebody the other day when they were talking about the system in the U.S. with like people being brought over, like immigrants, whether they're legal or not, being brought over to work on farms. And a lot of that is also happening in Canada as well. Like there's a lot of modern day slavery that is... kept behind closed doors or in places where people are not looking. Very disturbing.
Did you?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Did you see that? Did you see the group chat with like the young Republicans saying that like slavery is good?
Yeah, they think slavery is based.
Yeah.
I heard about that. Never saw it with my own eyes though.
Yeah,
I'd expect someone like Nick Fuentes to say shit like that. Doesn't surprise me that young Republicans are starting to mirror him.
Yeah, starting. No, they're all fucking Nazis. So this is a follow-up to a story that we covered previously on the show here. The insane fucking maniac who shot up those Democratic politicians. Just pretended to be a police... I think it was the guy we talked about before, the guy who pretended to be a police officer and then shot Melissa Hortman and a few other people.
This is the one in Michigan.
Yeah. The newly released 911 transcript showed that the daughter called the police and basically told them, my dad has been shot. A fake police officer came to my door. And she said, somebody came to our door dressed as a fake cop, shot my parents, they're alive, but we need help. Dispatcher says you have no idea who the person was. They say no, they were masked. My dad is Senator John Hoffman. So roughly 30 minutes after Vance Bolter left the Hoffmans, he arrived at Senator Ann Rust's home in New Hope. New Hope police officer pulled up next to him, rolled down her window, and attempted to talk to Bolter, but he did not respond. The officer continued on, and so did Bolter. About an hour later, investigators say he shot and killed former House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark. So they could have stopped this. there was a cop who was there, as we talked about before, who made contact with this person and then just like did nothing. Like just was like, oh, weirdo, pretending to be a cop. All right. And then just like drove away. So it's confirmed that that could have been fucking prevented. That cop was just it's like cops when they see a fake police officer with a weird, creepy latex mask on, like, well, anyways, must have been the wind. And then they just fuck off. It's like cops when they, cops when a black kid has like a smell of weed about him and they're like, put your fucking hands on the ground.
Black kid with playing in a park with like a water pistol. Time to shoot him.
They just roll up and shoot him. Yeah, I know exactly which incident you're talking about there.
Yeah, that was like I still think about that video to this day.
I have not seen that video, and I'm frankly glad that I haven't seen it.
And it's like I said earlier that like ICE makes these guys look like heroes. Oh, that's how fucked up ICE is today.
All right, so Ted Cruz says, let's stop attacking pedophiles, an embarrassing gaffe during rant about crime. Have you guys seen this?
I saw this from the least likely source. I saw it from like Moist Critical commenting on it.
Oh yeah.
That's so fucking funny. Actually, I remember somebody mentioned that Charlie talked about it, yeah.
This was not like a gaffe, this couldn't have been a flub.
Well, hold on. Let me play it here.
Senator Booker also said we should have bipartisan agreement. I think that's a great idea. We should have bipartisan agreement. How about we all come together and say, let's stop murders? How about we all come together and say, let's stop rape? How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles?
I don't know about that one, man.
Stop attacking pedophiles.
I mean, when you look at who's in the administration and how they operate, how they've handled the Epstein fucking fiasco and so on, all the accusations. I mean, Matt Gaetz and people like him who have actually had investigations and all that. Like, it definitely seems like they're pro pedophilia. I'm sorry, like that. How can you come away with any other conclusion? Like they're either pro pedophilia or they are themselves pedophiles.
He didn't even try to correct himself.
I know.
After saying that.
Yeah, it says right here, the senator did not correct himself after the error and instead moved on to discuss Trump's decision to deploy the National Guard in D.C. He didn't even correct himself. One X user wrote, "No, how about you all stop protecting them? Release the Epstein files now." Oh my god. Dude, this is so fucking funny. Dude, how do you say this on national TV?
I don't know. That's like one of the worst flubs ever. Just because of that, like you should never, like when the elections come around, election season comes around, and it's your time. I think you should be primaried, or at least you should lose.
They need to play that clip in every attack ad against Ted Cruz where he goes, "Stop attacking pedophiles."
There's already so much shit you can attack Ted Cruz over.
Cancun Cruz.
Yeah. Like whenever the ice storms hit Texas, and like anytime, like people make this joke that like anytime a national disaster is about to hit, Ted, like you can tell because Ted Cruz is about to leave the state and go on vacation.
The canary in the coal mine, yeah. You don't need a weather vane or any of that shit anymore. You just check up on old Ted. If he's fled the country, then you know there's a storm coming.
Yeah, the government weather machine's about to wreak havoc.
Bro,
Ted Cruz is in the know.
He's on his jet like, "I'm Ted Cruz," and then he just flies away.
Dude, remember when his daughter put him on blast?
Yes, that was awesome. I still think of the clip where the kid's like, "No, I don't want to kiss you. Get away from me." That was so funny. Okay, so this is the last story we're going to talk about here, and we're leaving you guys on an extra depressing one tonight. So some of you may have heard about the story. Vincent, whatever his name is, Badalero, harassed a teen girl and ranted about vengeance in live streams before a deadly crash. They call it a deadly crash here, but let's not fuck around. This guy intentionally ran over two teenage girls.
Let me guess, this is a left-wing terrorist?
No, this is a guy who got mad that two girls were making fun of Charlie Kirk dying. So he killed them with his car. Before Vincent, whatever the fuck, who cares, was charged with intentionally hitting and killing two 17-year-old girls at 70 miles an hour in his vehicle, he shared rambling live streams that included his need for vengeance against one of the girls. For hours at a clip, the 17-year-old from Garwood played MLB games, ranted about sports and politics, and occasionally veered into darker topics to his more than 40,000 followers. Man, this guy had 40,000 followers. What the fuck?
Hell.
Oh, wait, they're trying to paywall this article. Hold up. Gotta initiate paywall remover. I know.
The ugly, unlovable chud.
He does look like the Chud meme.
He looks like
He looks like the Parkland shooter.
Yeah, he does.
Millions must die.
Oh yeah, dude, fucking archive.is is the one that always works, I find. Here we go. He kind of looks like a weirdo that like would turn out to be like related to Jared, and even Jared's like, oh, I hate that guy, I can't stand him.
Fucks with the Mr. Magoo glasses.
The rants posted on YouTube included false allegations involving CP, what? And a girl from school who was causing him legal troubles. By Friday afternoon, YouTube had taken his account down. Angry over being suspended, he blamed the girl and her mother and wanted vengeance, he said in a live stream from September 23rd, less than a week before the fatal crash. While live and using a burner phone, he bragged he couldn't be traced. He ordered 2 pepperoni pizzas sent to their home, cash on delivery. Have fun with your pizza, you dipshit, he said as a friend chuckled. Then he went back to playing MLB games for his live audience. Family and neighbors now say this guy had been stalking 17-year-old Maria Neotis, even staking out her home in the months before he struck and killed her and her friend Isabella Salas as they rode an e-bike in Cranford on Monday. The revelation that the teen girls could have been deliberately targeted rocked Cranford, a quiet Union County suburb where a makeshift roadside memorial marks the crime scene on Burnside Avenue. Yeah, he ran these fucking girls over just like in front of like some people's homes. It's fucking disturbed, man. The guy faces
surprised.
2 counts of murder. Sorry, go on, dude.
I was just gonna say, I'm surprised that someone's Ring doorbell didn't get his license plate.
At
least the make and model of his vehicle.
I think there was some evidence. They caught him pretty quickly.
Well, that's because he bragged about it on live stream.
I hold up. I don't know if it mentions, but I think there was some other evidence that tied him to it. I don't think that's like the only reason they found out about it. In a bizarre 20-minute live stream recorded the day after the girls' deaths, he repeatedly claimed there was more to the story as an audience of hundreds heckled him with comments like murderer and when's the jail stream. I've been through too much, he told his audience matter-of-factly. I'm a nice kid. I'm 17 years old with a good family by my side, and these allegations that have been ruining everything is a shame. It sounds like this guy was like sharing somebody's nudes and then got like suspended from school for it or something, was potentially going to face legal action. That's what it sounds like.
That's the child porn claims.
Well, it seems like there's a bunch of young people involved, right? Like, I don't know for sure, but Nyota's family in a statement called him a coward of a man who had been plotting this attack against Maria for months. He carried out this horrific act, taking not only her life, but also Isabella's. So it seems like them making fun of Charlie Kirk was like the last straw for this guy, and he's like, I've been wanting to kill these women for a while, now I'm just gonna do it. And then he fucking went ahead and did it. What a fucking sicko, dude. More than a dozen hours of his voluminous live streams showed a teen aggrieved over a suspension for what he claimed were false allegations of distributing CP. Yep. I got a bunch of allegations being handed to me of crazy shit, stuff I will deny for 50 years to the end of my life, ridiculous allegations that this girl is making against me, addressed in small spurts over hours of Grand Theft Auto, baseball banter, and simulated MLB gameplay. He offered only glimpses into the circumstances of his suspension and his state of mind before the killings, but the footage, some of which has been taken down immediately after the incident, but some of which was still available Friday morning, could end up being crucial evidence in a criminal trial. In one stream, he showed off an iPhone he said he was converting to a burner using VPN technology to mask his number while he made harassing phone calls to the family of the girl. I think Maria is hungry, he says more than 2 hours into the video, walking his viewers through his plan to order pizzas to the girl's home as vengeance for getting him in trouble at school. You should not accuse me of sending porn, and you should not have dragged me into creating a police report, he said, referencing not just Maria, but her mother by name. You made a bad decision making a bad name of myself. This guy sounds like he can't even speak properly. Sounds like a fucking clown. Converting his phone into a burner by using VPNs. Okay, that's funny. Later in the stream, he claims Maria mocked conservative influencer Charlie Kirk's murder by resharing something critical of him on TikTok. Whenever Maria sees the pizza guy come, better think of Charlie Kirk for making fun of his fucking death. Stupid ass clown, just remember that. It's unclear what exactly precipitated the feud. The crash occurred in front of Maria's grandmother's home. Holy shit, dude. He killed this girl in front of her grandmother's home. What the fuck, man? According to the grandmother, that's what I'm saying. Like, how the fuck did this guy have 40,000 followers? I'm just assuming that like nobody plays fucking baseball. So like the few people that give a fuck about baseball video games were like, oh, this guy plays baseball video games. Like, I can't imagine there's a lot of people playing fucking MLB games and streaming it. So he's probably like one of the 3 people on Earth doing that, and he garnered an audience that way. One thing that you got to think about too is that this guy had been harassing this girl and her family for a while. There was a police investigation that had him named and everything, so they probably knew he was the guy who did this like right after it happened. There's another quote here from one of his streams. Because I got into her relationship business and now the school, and now I'm gonna tell you all this. Cops got involved and the school got involved in this shit, and somehow they're believing this crap. So they suspended me basically indefinitely until they figure it out, which again makes no sense. But by June, the police had told him, the case is going to be dismissed and I am not going to be facing any charges. Wait, what the fuck? Then why did you kill? This doesn't even, like, not that it would have justified killing somebody if he actually had done something. But, like, it's even more insane if, like, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? He compared himself to an ex-Dodgers pitcher, Trevor Bauer, who was suspended over sexual assault allegations in 2021, but never criminally charged. I'm basically cleared of any wrongdoing. Says a lot. If they're closing the case on me for this and they're bringing me back to school, it says a lot of how much I was innocent in the first place and how people are trying to treat me like Trevor Bauer to make me feel like the bad person. So then you go and kill 2 people. Okay, yeah. Makes perfect sense. On his live streams and social media posts, he also expressed admiration for Andrew Tate, a controversial online influencer who's accused of running a criminal sex trafficking ring in Romania. Okay.
Whatever happened to Andrew Tate? We don't ever hear about him anymore.
He's still around, but like, I mean, there was like a point, like maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, where we reached like total Tate oversaturation, and like it was only downhill from there. So I'm not surprised people aren't still talking about him. In one video dating back to July 2023, he jokes that the female characters in a video game version of the game show Deal or No Deal are imprisoned. They're all held hostage. They're all going to get raped by Andrew Tate. He later clarified that this was a joke. For legal reasons, that's a joke, he said.
It was just a joke. It was just irony.
And that's the end of the article. So yeah.
That kid is fucking schizo.
They're all going to get raped by Andrew Tate. Haha, just kidding.
Yeah. You
okay.
Make false allegations about me. You make fun of Charlie Kirk. Time to die.
Can't believe somebody would make up these horrible allegations against me. I'm going to go commit vehicular murder. Okay. Well, there you go. That's what's going on in this evil planet at the moment. Some of the things that are going on. Yeah, I mean, I'll cap off this episode with this. I've been like wanting to bring this up, but like I don't know how to like really talk about it in an in-depth way without like bringing up these articles and just kind of showing it and then kind of commenting on it. But like, at least in terms of like America, and I mean like on Earth, we're all kind of under the thumb of the American empire in one way or another. America is completely fucked. Like, I don't think that there's any coming back from this. There's no way to easily reverse this, at least.
I think that there is always a way forward. You can, like, we've had bad periods in our history before, like Jim Crow, segregation, concentration camps of the Japanese, genocide of the Native Americans, displacing them, Guantanamo, torture, Abu Ghraib. Yeah, I feel like eventually
maybe we won't be the exact same as we were before. Maybe we won't have the same like structures that we have before, but we will eventually adapt and we will move forward. I know that there are people out there who want to take us back to some like mythical time or like create some new hell, but people, I do genuinely believe in the goodness of the American people. So eventually the shit's going to hit the fan. People are going to say that they're sick of this shit, and we're going to do a course reverse. The Overton window has shifted, and the pendulum has swung hard right. Eventually, it's going to swing back to something better.
Seems like that might have already started, but we'll only know 6 to 12 months from now. I want to ask you both too, do you think, like as a follow-up to what we were talking about just now, do you both think that Trump is actually going to successfully be removed from office at the end of his term? Because I think that's one of the things that will decide the path going forward. Like if Trump is able to stay in office and become like a dictator, then I think it's pretty much over for America. I don't know.
If Trump does become a dictator, I don't think he will stay in power very long. One, because of his health, and two, because I just don't think the American people are just going to accept it. What do you think, Trip?
I think I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I definitely don't think he's gonna live long enough to become dictator, but someone would, have to take his place, and
It'd have to be Vance.
yeah, and I don't know if Vance like has the charisma to do so. It's really uncertain.
I would kind of maybe argue that Trump is already, if not a dictator, then he's already started the process of becoming a dictator and is well on his way, because like, I don't know, there's probably different operational definitions of what a dictator technically is, but I mean, he's setting himself up to stay in office. Like he literally had Trump 2028 hats on his desk when some Dems met with him in the White House Oval Office the other week. Did you see that? Like they're just bragging about it. They're openly talking about it. And beyond that, he's ignoring judges. His administration is breaking the law constantly. They're violating the Impoundment Control Act, I believe it's called. Like we talked about it. They're finding ways to get around posse comitatus. They're trying to label half or more people in the country as like fucking terrorists or potential terrorists for their political beliefs. They're creating concentration camps for people that are accused of being illegal immigrants, and many times citizens, like American citizens, not even just permanent residents, but American citizens are being thrown into these camps, and so on and so on. Like all the stuff we talked about, I would argue that it's already kind of happening.
And also, he's trying to rule over the House of Representatives and the Senate as well, like blocking funding to certain programs and certain organizations. Doing stuff like the Doge cuts. That in itself is illegal. Like Congress is the one who allocates the funds.
Yep.
You're not. Yeah, and also like all of these fucking executive orders and like the tariffs and shit. Like he is overreaching hard.
These fucking attacks on boats in the Caribbean and around South America. Like I would personally, I think, like thinking about it right now, I would comfortably say that Donald Trump is already a dictator. People can disagree with that. You guys can agree or disagree, but that's my personal opinion. I think at this point, now that I've said all this out loud and thought about it, I think Donald Trump has already essentially become America's first true dictator. I mean, I'll ask you both this too to kind of wrap up the episode here, because I've been thinking about this the last week or so. Would you feel comfortable saying that Donald Trump is officially the worst U.S. president of all time at this point? What do you think?
Absolutely. Yeah, at least in our lifetime. Yeah. He's fucking crashed the economy. He's hasn't done anything on inflation. We could be seeing food scarcity soon. He's done nothing to help with the affordability of houses. He has threatened people who hold student loans with higher payments. He's trying to kick people off Medicaid. and he's not actually doing anything about like drugs in this country. He's using that as an excuse, and he's harassing the Americans like living in blue cities. No, he is like, honestly, I can't think of a worse president. I know that like FDR did the internment camps, and I know Andrew Jackson did like the Trail of Tears, but
Donald Trump is continuing Donald Trump is continuing the genocide in Gaza. So I think that's probably just as bad as those other things in terms of creating death and suffering and human misery. By the way, to add on to what you're saying, you are correct. There's actually a significance behind how bad food insecurity is in the U.S. now. It has not been this bad since the Great Recession.
Yeah.
That's the last time food insecurity was this bad, and that was the fucking Great Recession, dude.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Trip? What's your take on it? Trump being potentially the worst president, what do you think?
I mean, I agree, yeah. He's done nothing but, set us back.
It seems like anything he does is just in his own self-interest, or the self-interest of the billionaire class and the people who control his puppet strings. He's not governing for the American people. He's governing in a way that, like you said, cements him as like the de facto ruler. I think the only thing that keeps him from feeling like an absolute tyrant and dictator is that our government has we have like local governments, right?
Yeah.
We have governors, and we have our own local state representatives, city representatives. Like, we have different levels of government, and usually our state government is usually the thing that more represents who we are. The federal government does help out a bunch, and it does fund certain state what's the word, right?
Like state programs.
Yeah, state programs. It does do that, but
yeah. No, you're right. At like a fundamental local level, your local government and the state government in the U.S. is going to be doing a lot more things that people will notice day to day. Where they're at. Yeah. So I know what you mean. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I think I was thinking about this while you were saying it just now, but I think you're right. There's another thing too, is the media, state and local government being oppositional to him, and the media not completely falling in line with him. Those are the two things that get in the way of Trump being a full-on dictator, and remind him that he isn't one quite yet. And then also the federal institutions not totally falling behind him. So those three things, I would say: the media, local and state representatives, senators, whatever, Congress people, and then all the federal institutions. And it seems like that is slowly shifting over time. He purged these institutions and brought in a bunch of fucking loyalists. He's definitely the most openly corrupt US president of all time. And also the way he uses lawfare against his fucking political enemies and political opponents. He used to bring that up, oh, they're only arresting me, during fucking Biden's presidency. He's like, they're trying to arrest me and charge me with all this shit, and it's lawfare. Well, that fucking falls completely on its face now, because he's in charge and he's doing a bunch of fucking lawfare. But we all knew it was bullshit anyways.
Right. And I guess it also depends on what state you live in. If you live in one of these liberal blue cities, you feel the presence of Trump more than if you live in a small town in rural America. So
it's a different environment too, because in a lot of places, obviously not all of them, but in a lot of those places, you're going to have a lot of people around you who are Trump fans, or at least they voted for him last election, even if they're disillusioned with him now.
Oh, dude, I've been to trailer parks where you see people hanging Trump flags on the side of their trailer, and the trailer park is fucking run down. The roads have potholes in them.
Yeah.
All the trailers are 7 feet apart from each other. These are single wide trailers, broken down cars in their parking spaces out front of their trailers. I don't understand why these people think that Trump is going to save them when he has done absolutely nothing legislatively to do this, you know, or not necessarily legislatively, but he's done no executive order. He hasn't signed off on any bills passed by like the Senate that will help the American people. He hasn't sponsored anything. He hasn't told MAGA Mike Johnson, like, hey, this is our agenda. Well, he has, but not in a way that is positive towards the people in these trailer parks.
That's why, dude, that's why the right-wing griftosphere is so ascendant right now, is because these people who support Trump and live in this delusional fantasy land need people constantly validating their beliefs and reinforcing them and telling them what they want to hear. Otherwise, it all just falls apart.
Yeah, that's why they feel so strongly when like someone like Charlie Kirk, you know, he got. Yeah, they have this parasocial relationship with him.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was about to say. Like, I was just thinking that, like, Charlie Kirk wasn't just some guy on the internet who said fucking shit that they agreed with. He was essentially their best friend who fucking says all the shit that they also say. And they probably felt so, like, one thing that I've noticed too, like, I'll just say this. I used to work at a place where this guy would come in and tell my coworker he looked like Charlie Kirk. And my coworker was like, who the fuck is Charlie Kirk? And I had to tell him, like, yeah, that guy's like a neo-Nazi. And my coworker's like, what the fuck? Like, I showed him shit that Charlie said, and he's like, I don't want to be compared to this guy. And I'm like, sorry, bro. And this guy came in one day, the guy who was fucking saying, oh, you look like Charlie Kirk. And he started just going off about a bunch of fucking conservative grievances. And it was pretty fucking clear that this is a guy who says all this shit to like his family all the time, and they're basically just like, shut the fuck up, like, we don't want to hear this shit. So he goes and like bothers service workers about it and like people working in like random shops and stuff. So that's like a lot of those fucking people, you know, like their family doesn't want to fucking hear this conservative shit. And I've talked to people who have basically like over time gotten into like weird shit like that, and then they've straight up said like, yeah, I've had issues with my family. They don't want to fucking hear me talking about this shit. They don't like it when I watch like fucking Charlie Kirk or like Candace Owens or whatever. There's like tons of fucking lonely conservatives out there whose like families have disowned them, and their best friends are basically like Charlie Kirk and Candy Owens who live on their phone and tell them all the things that they want to hear. Yeah, it's really sad.
And then they signed up for ICE.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's like the lonely mail to ICE pipeline.
Yep.
Get them hooked on conservative media, make them an unlovable chud, and then make them commit atrocities.
Yeah, that's why the next season of The Boys is taking so long, because they're like having to rewrite shit constantly to address this stuff.
Homelander is gonna have an army of chuds. It's gonna be great.
They're gonna call it Glass. Anyways, I think we've reached the end of the show here. Tripped, Mean, and Gord, thank you for coming on. Another one in the bag, they say. It's been a nice, decent recording session. We got 2 hours here. I'm going to have to edit down, so I'm going to get to work on that right away. All right. Well, thank you both for coming on. I'll catch you both later. Have a good night, yo.
Yeah, peace out.
See y'all.